Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's deep dive takes us to a place that's as scenic as it is, well, spooky.
Spooky's a good word for it.
Haverstraw, New York. Right on the Hudson River, you know.
Yeah.
Picturesque, historic.
And known for its fair share of ghost stories.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to explore.
Unpack those ghost stories, right?
That's right. Specifically, we're diving into the Garnerville Arts and Industrial Center. This old textile mill, it's now a space for artists, but there's a darkness there.
An undercurrent, you could say.
Yeah, something hasn't moved on from its past.
Right, it's like those old tragedies, they kind of seep into the walls, you know, become part of the place.
And that's where our story begins, with a young art student, Jenny Carter.
New in town.
Fresh to Haverstraw, yep. Now, Jenny's heard the rumors about the Garnerville Center being haunted.
As you would in a place like that.
Of course, but she brushes it off, thinks it's just folklore. You know, like any good ghost story.
Right, until you experience it yourself.
Exactly. But late one night, she's all alone in the building, and let's just say she gets a first-hand experience.
Oh boy.
So picture this. It's late, Jenny's working, the building's silent.
Always creepy when it's too quiet.
Right. And she starts to feel like she's being watched.
That's how it starts, that feeling. Like eyes on you.
Yeah, and then faint footsteps echoing in the distance, getting closer.
I don't know.
And then, at the end of this dimly lit hallway, a shadowy figure appears.
A figure? What, like a person?
That's what she said, just this dark, shadowy form shrouded in darkness.
I'd be out of there so fast.
Oh, me too. But before Jenny can even react, the figure darts towards her.
Darts? Like, quickly?
Like a flash. Then it's gone, vanished into thin air, leaving her completely terrified.
Oh, I bet. I'd be a mess.
So she grabs her things, makes a beeline for the exit.
Smart move.
Right, but as she gets to the door, it slams shut, locked tight.
No way.
She's pulling, yanking, but it won't budge. And then, through the silence, she hears a whisper. Leave.
No. You're kidding. A voice.
That's what she said. Finally, the door opens, and she practically runs out of there, that whisper echoing in her mind.
Can you imagine?
So most people, they'd chalk it up to nerves and overactive imagination, right?
You'd think.
But not Jenny. She's determined to find out what happened.
Brave of her.
So she turns to someone who might have answers. Bill Donovan. Older artist, practically part of the furniture at the Garnerville Center.
Oh, I see. Someone who's been around.
Exactly. And Bill listens to Jenny's story, and you can tell he's heard it all before.
Well, I bet he has a few stories of his own.
And that's when he reveals the truth about the Garnerville Center's past. See, it wasn't always this art space. Back in the 1880s, it was a bustling textile mill, running day and night.
Wow, so much history there.
Right. But one winter night, tragedy struck.
Tragedy? What happened?
It was awful, Bill described it, a fire ripping through the building.
Oh no, a fire.
And the workers, many of them were trapped inside.
Oh my gosh, how awful.
It was a disaster, fueled by, back then they didn't have the safety measures they do now.
Right, so much could go wrong.
Exactly, and those who managed to escape, they could only watch as the flames consumed everything.
I can't even imagine. That's horrifying. Just heartbreaking to think about those people trapped inside.
I know, and it gets worse. Bill said that no one made it out of that fire.
Oh no.
It was a total loss, and the aftermath, well, that's when the story started.
What kind of stories?
Workers, the ones who had been lucky enough to escape the fire, they started reporting strange things.
Like what? Seeing ghosts?
That's right. They'd see figures in the shadows or hear their names being called.
Spooky.
And then there were the tools. Just vanishing.
Vanishing?
Gone. Like they'd just disappear into thin air.
That's strange.
Right. And the machinery, some of it was old. From the mill, they said it would start up on its own even when no one was near it.
That's creepy. Like, how do you explain that?
It's like whatever happened during that fire, it left something behind. A darkness, an energy.
Some things they can't be explained.
And it wasn't just strange occurrences either. There were accidents, too.
Accidents? Like what kind of accidents?
Well, at first they seemed like, just that. Accidents. A worker might fall or get caught in machinery.
That's awful. But in a place like that, an old mill, it's bound to happen, right?
You'd think so, but these accidents, they started happening more and more frequently, and they always seem to happen in the same areas of the mill, the places where the fire had been the worst.
The places where people had died.
Exactly. Eventually, it just got to be too much. Word spread, people started whispering about a curse, about the spirits of the fire victims seeking revenge.
A curse? That's a bit much, don't you think?
Maybe, but that's what people were saying, and it got to the point where no one wanted to work at the Garnerville mill anymore.
I can't say I blame them.
Right. So the mill shut down.
And what about the ghosts? Did they stay?
Some say they never left.
It's like the tragedy of the fire. It's like it's soaked into the bricks, into the very air.
And you can't really tear a building down and start over, can you?
Not really. Not without erasing a piece of history. Even a dark one.
Right. And who's to say what might be unleashed if you did?
Exactly. So the Garnerville mill, it sat empty for years. Decades even.
Just waiting for someone brave enough to step inside again.
Or foolish enough, depending on what you believe.
Right. But eventually, as these things tend to go, people forgot.
Or they just stopped caring as much.
I guess so. The stories, they became, like you said, just stories.
Part of the town's lore, something to tell around a campfire.
Exactly. And that's how it stayed for years until, well, some people, they're drawn to those kinds of stories.
The ones who want to believe, who need a little mystery in their lives.
And some who want to prove it, right.
Oh, definitely. The ghost hunters, the paranormal investigators.
Exactly. They saw the Garnerville mill and, well, they saw an opportunity.
A chance to, what? To confront those old stories, those lingering energies?
That's right. And maybe, just maybe, to find some proof that we're not alone in the dark.
See, that's the thing, isn't it? There's a part of us, deep down, that wants to believe.
It's like we crave that connection to something beyond ourselves, beyond our understanding.
It's the unknown, the possibility. It's what keeps us coming back for more.
And in the case of the Garnerville Arts and Industrial Center, well, there were plenty of stories to keep people coming back, but none quite as chilling as what happened to a team of paranormal investigators back in 2017.
Oh, this is the part I've been waiting for. Tell me everything.
So this team, they were the real deal, They came armed with all the gadgets.
The EMF readers, EVP recorders, the whole shebang.
Oh yeah, they were ready for anything. At first it was quiet, just the normal creaks and groans of an old building,
Setting the mood.
Exactly. But then, as the night wore on, things started to change.
How so? Did they start picking up something on their equipment?
That's right, the EMF reader started going crazy, spiking in certain areas.
Here's the site of the fire, I bet.
You got it, and then they started hearing voices.
Voices. Through the EVP recorder.
Yeah, faint whispers, like they were coming from the walls themselves, just out of reach.
Oh man, true.
Right. And one of the investigators, a guy named Rob, he started feeling really uneasy.
Uneasy how? Like, what was he feeling?
Like he was being watched, followed.
Oh, I know that feeling. It's like there's something right behind you, but when you turn around, there's nothing there.
And then it happened. They were in the basement, right near where the fire had been the worst, and Rob, he felt something grab his arm.
No way. Did he see what it was?
He said it was too dark to see clearly, but it felt like a hand, cold and clammy, trying to pull him into the darkness.
That's terrifying. What did they do?
They got out of there as fast as they could, ran right out of the Garnerville Center, and didn't look back.
Can you blame them?
Not at all. Yeah. And that's just one story, There have been countless others over the years, whispers of strange occurrences, unexplained noises, even sightings of shadowy figures lurking in the old mill's windows.
So what do you think? Is the Garnerville Arts and Industrial Center really haunted?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one that each of us has to answer for ourselves. But I'll tell you this, after hearing all those stories, I'm not sure I'd want to spend a night there alone.
Me neither. But hey, that's what makes these deep dives so much fun, right? Exploring the mysteries, the what-ifs, the things that go bump in the night. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the haunting of Haverstraw. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, but maybe keep the lights on.